Have you ever believed that happiness was waiting somewhere ahead? That once you reached a certain goal, earned a title, achieved success, or arrived at a specific moment in life, everything would finally make sense, and the emptiness you carry would quietly disappear on its own? Imagine this. In a small, peaceful village surrounded by quiet mountains and open skies, there lived a wise village chief, known and respected by everyone for his years of experience, calm presence, and deep understanding of life, hardship, responsibility, and the true meaning of living well. Yet behind his calm presence, the old chief carried a quiet, constant worry. His only son lived without direction, drifting through his days in sleep and idleness, avoiding responsibility, wasting time, and never realizing how quickly life was passing or how unprepared he was for a future without guidance. And then, as it always does, what is meant to come slowly draws closer. What will happen to a young man who has never learned to stand on his own, once the wise father who guided and protected him is gone? Stay until the end, because this story may not only be about that young man, it may reflect the way we are all living, chasing destinations and quietly missing something far more important. One quiet morning, as the sun rose slowly over the village, the old chief called his son to his side. His voice was calm, steady, and gentle, yet beneath it carried a seriousness that felt unfamiliar, signaling that this was not an ordinary conversation, but a moment that would change everything. He handed his son a small bag filled with essential supplies for the road, a modest amount of money carefully saved over time, and a hand-drawn map worn by age and use, its faded lines carrying the weight of intention, preparation, and a lesson that would only reveal itself through the journey ahead. "I want you to find this treasure," the father said quietly, his eyes resting on his son with calm certainty. "This journey will give your life direction and meaning. Follow the map, trust the path, and believe that what you seek will shape the man you are meant to become." The young man stared at the map in his hands, his heart racing with excitement and possibility. For the first time in his life, he felt a sense of direction, believing this single purpose would finally give meaning to his days and pull him out of the drifting, empty routine he had known for so long. The next morning, as the village slowly woke and soft light filled the air, he set out on his journey alone, carrying the bag, the map, and a heart full of expectation, unaware that this path would test him in ways he could not yet imagine or understand. For nearly a full year, he kept moving without rest or hesitation, crossing wide rivers, walking through dense forests, and climbing over dangerous mountains. Each step carried him farther from home, pushing his body to exhaustion while his mind remained fixed on the map. Blind to everything else along the way, his mind was fixed on one thing only: the treasure. Every thought, every decision, and every step forward was shaped by that single obsession, leaving no space for curiosity, gratitude, or reflection, as he believed reaching the end would justify every hardship he endured along the way. He slept only a few restless hours each night, ate hurried meals without taste or thought, and kept his eyes constantly glued to the map in his hands. His days became mechanical and rushed, focused only on moving forward, while his body weakened and his awareness of the world around him slowly disappeared. People helped him along the way, offering food, shelter, and guidance during difficult moments on the road. They opened their homes, shared their meals, and wished him safety, yet he barely noticed their kindness before moving on again, to focus on his destination, to truly see the generosity, warmth, and human connection surrounding him, the beauty surrounding him. Wide green valleys, clear flowing streams, and glowing sunsets painting the sky in quiet colors pass by without meaning or impact. These moments, meant to be felt and remembered, became nothing more than blurred scenery, overlooked as he rushed forward, believing beauty was something to be enjoyed only after the goal was reached. He became so focused on reaching the destination that he slowly forgot how to live the journey itself. Each day turned into a task to complete rather than an experience to feel, and without realizing it, he traded awareness for speed, presence for progress, and life itself for a distant promise on the map. At last, After countless days of exhaustion and movement, he reached the place marked with a bold X on the map. Standing there in silence, he felt a surge of anticipation, convinced that every sacrifice, every hardship, and every lonely step had led to this exact moment. Without hesitation, he dropped to his knees and began to dig into the earth with desperate urgency. Each movement was fast and forceful, driven by belief and exhaustion, as if stopping even for a moment might cause the long-awaited reward to disappear before his eyes. Day after day, he continued digging without rest. His hands blistered and bleeding, his body growing weaker with each passing hour. Pain became constant. Exhaustion settled deep into his bones. Yet he refused to stop, convinced the treasure must be just beneath the surface. But in the end, there was nothing. No sign of gold, no hidden chest, no reward waiting beneath the soil. Only emptiness remained, stretching quietly before him, forcing him to face the crushing silence of unmet expectations. No gold lay hidden beneath the ground. No silver waited to reward his suffering. There was no treasure at all. Everything he had imagined, hoped for, and endured collapsed into a single, painful realization. The place he believed would change his life held nothing but cold earth, silence, and the weight of his own disappointment. Only dirt, scattered stones, and heavy silence remained. The wind moved softly around him, but offered no comfort. The earth gave no answers. In that stillness, the absence of treasure felt louder than any sound, forcing him to sit with the truth that everything he had chased for so long was suddenly, painfully gone. Exhausted and burning with anger, the young man finally dropped his tools onto the ground and turned away from the empty pit. His body ached, his spirit felt broken, and with heavy steps, he began the long, lonely walk home, carrying nothing with him except frustration, confusion, and the weight of wasted effort. This time, there was no treasure left to chase, no promise waiting ahead to pull him forward. The goal that once consumed his thoughts was gone, leaving him to walk without urgency or expectation, forced to move simply because the road continued, not because he believed a reward awaited him. There was no map left to follow, no marked path to guide his steps or reassure him he was moving in the right direction. Without lines or symbols to rely on, he felt exposed and uncertain, forced to walk forward without guidance, answers, or the comfort of knowing where the road would lead. And for the first time since his journey began, he slowed down and truly looked around him, without a destination pulling his attention forward. His eyes started to notice details he had once ignored: the land beneath his feet, the air he breathed, and the quiet life unfolding all around him in simple, meaningful moments. He began to notice the soft colors of spring flowers lining the road, shades of green, yellow, and violet he had once rushed past without a glance. Each bloom seemed to exist quietly in its own time, reminding him that beauty did not demand attention or urgency, only presence and the willingness to slow down and see. He learned how to hunt to feed himself, not out of ambition or excitement, but out of simple necessity, with time, patience, and repeated failure. He learned to read tracks, move quietly, and respect the balance of nature, discovering a quiet confidence that came not from achievement, but from self-reliance and survival. He learned to cook simple meals over open fire, to repair his torn clothes with careful, imperfect stitches, and to build shelter when the weather turned harsh. These were not grand skills meant to impress anyone, but quiet lessons in survival, patience, and responsibility, teaching him how to care for himself without depending on others. He stayed with families who had once helped him during his journey, returning to their homes with humility rather than urgency. This time, he did not rush away. He shared meals, listened to their stories, and slowly understood the warmth of human connection he had once overlooked while chasing something he believed mattered more. This time, he chose to work alongside them instead of rushing away toward an invisible goal. He helped in the fields, repaired tools, and shared the weight of daily labor. Through quiet effort and shared responsibility, he learned that working together created meaning far deeper than any reward he once chased alone. He made friends along the way, not through words or promises, but through presence and shared time. He learned to listen more than he spoke, to understand stories different from his own, and to read the position of the sun and the stars, discovering guidance not on a map, but in the world above and around him. Slowly, he began to grow stronger. Not in sudden bursts, but through quiet, steady. His body adapted to the road, his hands grew skilled, and his mind became calmer. Strength no longer meant speed or endurance alone, but resilience, awareness, and the ability to move forward without rushing or fear. His strength grew not only in his body, but deeply within his spirit. He became more patient, more grounded, and less driven by fear or expectation. Where restlessness once lived, calm slowly took its place, allowing him to face uncertainty without panic and to trust himself even when the path ahead was unclear. For the first time in his life, he felt truly content, not because he had reached a destination or achieved something impressive, but because of who he was slowly becoming. Without realizing it, he had begun to value growth over reward, presence over progress, and inner balance over the constant need to prove himself to the world. 2 years later, he finally returned home, walking the familiar path with a different heart and steady steps. The village looked the same, yet everything felt changed. He was no longer the restless young man who had left in search of a reward, but someone shaped quietly by the journey itself. The old father embraced him tightly, holding his son as if no time had passed, yet sensing everything had changed. Without a single word spoken, he felt the strength, calm, and maturity now present in his son. In that quiet embrace, understanding passed between them, deeper than explanations, confirming that the journey had given what no lesson ever could. After a long moment of silence, the father gently pulled back and looked into his son's eyes. With a calm voice, free of expectation or judgment, he asked a simple question that carried years of meaning within it. "Did you find the treasure?" The words hung quietly in the air, waiting for an answer shaped by experience. The son smiled gently, not with excitement or pride, but with a quiet calm that came from deep understanding. It was the smile of someone who no longer needed to prove anything, someone who had let go of disappointment and expectation, and who now carried peace earned through experience rather than success. "No," he said softly, without regret or bitterness in his voice. There was no sadness in the answer, only clarity. What once felt like failure no longer held power over him, because he had come to understand that the absence of treasure had given him something far more valuable than anything he had gone searching for. The journey back was the real treasure, he continued, his voice calm and steady. In those words lived every lesson he had learned, every skill he had gained, and every moment of awareness he had once ignored. What shaped him most was not the search itself, but the life he finally noticed while returning home. The wise father nodded slowly, a gentle smile forming on his face, as if he had been waiting for that answer all along. In his eyes was not surprise, but quiet relief, knowing his son had discovered something far greater than gold, a truth that could only be learned through living, not through instruction. There was never any buried treasure, he sighed calmly without drama or hesitation. His words carried no apology, only honesty. What he had hidden was not gold beneath the earth, but a lesson beneath the journey itself, one that could not be given directly, only discovered through experience and time. "I sent you to find life, not gold," the father continued gently. He wanted his son to experience struggle, connection, and growth firsthand, to learn how to live rather than what to chase. Gold could be lost or spent, but the wisdom gained from living fully would remain with him forever. "If you rush toward a goal without paying attention," the father said softly, "you begin to treat life as something to finish rather than something to experience. In your hurry, you stop seeing people, lessons, and moments that shape you, and without realizing it, you trade living for chasing, presence for speed, and meaning for distance. You miss the life you are living while chasing it," he finished calmly. "Time continues to move, whether you notice it or not, and moments pass only once. When all attention is fixed on a distant future, the present quietly slips away, leaving you farther from fulfillment than when you first began the chase. We often believe happiness is waiting at some destination, a promotion, an achievement, a dream finally fulfilled. We tell ourselves that once we arrive there, everything will feel complete. But while we chase these milestones, we postpone our joy, ignoring the present moment. Days turn into routines, years slip quietly by, and life becomes a series of checkpoints rather than experiences. In believing happiness exists only ahead of us, we overlook the small, meaningful moments happening now. Moments that were meant to be lived, not delayed. But life is not a single prize to be uncovered at the end of a long struggle. It is not one moment of success that suddenly makes everything meaningful. Life unfolds quietly, day by day, through experiences that shape us, lessons that teach us, and moments that ask us to slow down and truly be present. Its meaning lies in the skills you learn along the way, the abilities you build through effort, failure, and repetition. These skills are not earned in moments of celebration, but in ordinary days when you choose to keep going. They become part of who you are, supporting you long after any single goal has been reached or forgotten. Its meaning also lives in the people you help and connect with along the journey, in shared struggles, quiet conversations, and small acts of kindness. Relationships form that shape your life in ways no achievement ever could. These connections remind you that purpose grows through giving, understanding, and being present with others. Don't spend your entire life digging at one spot on the map, convinced that everything you need lies hidden in a single place or moment. When you fixate on one point alone, you risk missing the growth, lessons, and experiences surrounding you, quietly passing by while your attention remains locked on an imagined reward. The real treasure is the journey itself, the long path filled with learning, struggle, and quiet transformation. It is found in the steps you take, the mistakes you survive, and the awareness you gain along the way. Long before you ever reach a destination, the journey is already shaping the person you are becoming. It's found in growth, the gradual, often invisible changes that happen as you move forward. Growth does not arrive all at once or announce itself loudly. It builds quietly through effort, patience, and reflection, shaping your mindset, your strength, and your understanding of life, long before you realize how far you have come. Because the destination is only a moment, a brief pause in time that quickly passes once it is reached. No matter how important it feels, it cannot hold you forever. Moments fade, but what you become in the process continues long after that moment is gone. But the journey, that is, your life, it is made of every step, every pause, every lesson, and every quiet realization along the way. While destinations come and go, the journey continues, shaping your days, your character, and the meaning you carry forward. Thank you for listening until the end. If this story resonated with you, please like and subscribe to the channel to listen to more stories with me.